Welcome back, everybody, to Let's Chat with Money Matters and the lovely Shey Hennig. And I'm going to give you a brief description of Shey if you haven't been on our show before. Shey has been in the financial service industry since 1996. She is currently as a branch manager in her field. Although Shey studied voice and education at Brampton University, she has found her greatest passion in teaching financial literacy to single moms in the greatly underserved middle market family. Shey is a featured speaker in Dominion Voice, a Christian outreach, and she has also put together a teaching for the church community entitled Entering the Promised Land. For the last 4 years, Shey has sat on the Women's Advisory Board for her company and is in the top 1% of all women in the company in North America. And that is quite an achievement in North America. I mean,
thank you.
My goodness sakes. Shey has a heart for making her rags to riches story come to life for those she meets. So welcome back, Shey. It is great to chat again today.
Good to be here.
Yes, it's been awesome. So the question today is, and we have the baby boomers who I think every year that, or every generation, we have people born that say, I want my kids to have better than I had. And I want my kids to have better than I had. So back in the 30s, you wanted your kids to have better. And, so you got better education in the 60s and the 70s, and you got better this and you got better that. So it seems to be a generational thing that we always want our kids to have better than what we had. So the question today is, how do I save for my kids to make sure they have the things I never had?
Yeah, I love that question. I'm a mom too, and I have 4 amazing stepchildren and 2 children of my own. I'm a grandma, so I love this question, and it makes me ponder a lot. I think we're in a different world today, for sure. And first of all, I want to say it's okay that your children don't have everything. We've created a bit of a mess, I think, for this sort of millennial generation where we feel that we need to just give them everything that they want. And I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think when you're setting up for your kids, there's a couple ways to save for your children. Maybe in the ways you never had, right? And particularly for education, for future, needs, weddings and things like that. Today for our children just being born today, so my grandson, for him in 18 years to go get a 4-year degree is going to cost him about $120,000.
Yeah.
Isn't that something? Like, that's just crazy. And so the average parent cannot set aside that kind of money normally and take care of your own needs and future as well, right? Yeah. So I always say, why don't you shoot for a goal like, I want to cover 25% of their education. I want to cover maybe 50% of their education. And then, them taking care of the other 50% isn't a bad thing. That's okay. Yeah. So a couple of the ways I just want to quickly talk about to save for your children, of course, is an education plan. That's a whole topic in and of itself. I always say to people, make sure when you're saving for your kids' education, you're getting a good RESP, like at the bank, with an investment company. Those scholarship plans, you want to watch out for those, really high in fees. Yeah. And so they're taking money from you before you even get started, right? So, you want to avoid that kind of thing. But another thing is to set up a trust account for your kids. And you can do that with like $20 a month and set a little bit of money aside for them so that they can use that money for a wedding, maybe a vehicle, a down payment on a home, and in that way, you're providing for your children in maybe ways you never had, right? Getting them every toy that they need at Christmas, maybe not such a good idea, right? So get one toy and tuck away something for them financially. That's going to go a whole lot further than that thing they're going to get sick of in a week. And, just making choices that way, right?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you can see it happening, that you look at the kids and they're getting everything and anything that they want, but there is zero money to be able to put toward the future, which is what you really want to do. You want to better equip your children with the things that you didn't have. And if you really look back at it, it's not the new iPhone 6 or whatever the heck, the new gizmo that's out. It's having financial literacy and financial stability in a market and in a day that we're not going to be able to understand, like,
Yeah.
20 years from now. I mean, I don't even understand the one right now, for heaven's sakes,
Yeah.
with the way the world is going in the direction that it's going and what it costs to do things nowadays. So having the things, or giving the things that your children never had, isn't necessarily the material things.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's good.
Give them the knowledge of finance. Give them the knowledge of money.
Yeah. And start teaching them when they're little the value of $1. Give them an allowance if they work for it, and then teach them what to do with that allowance, expend that 10% maybe on yourself, save some, teach them. We're in a world today, you said it, where we're so financially illiterate, and largely because our generation, our parents never taught us, money was never talked of. So we need to break that cycle going forward.
Yeah.
And so when, with little kids, teach them the value of money. If you just give them everything, you're teaching them absolutely nothing. And so, there's some great ways to teach little kids, about money and how to do good things with it.
Yeah. I think I'm a firm believer that if you give everything that your child asks for, you're teaching them entitlement.
Absolutely.
Instead of empowerment.
Absolutely.
And I think we need to teach, because one of the things that the schools do not teach is financial stability. They don't teach anything about how to balance your checkbook, what a credit card is about. Yeah, guess what? You get a credit card and you run around and you take your friends out to dinner and you go to the bar, you whatever. But sweetheart, you have to pay that back.
Yeah.
On a 19.99% or 21.99%, pretty soon you're in debt. And I think that is one of the biggest scams out there, is when kids, or I'll call them kids, but the kids that are heading into university can get a credit card.
Yeah.
And seriously, why are you giving them a credit card?
Yeah.
They don't have to apply. They just get this credit card sometimes. You're pre-approved, let's do this, with no idea of what to do with the credit card.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember my daughter's first day of university. She went and applied. She thought for a credit card. They have booths everywhere, $1,500 limit, without proving that you can even pay that off. They're students. Well, she went and applied. She thought they had pitched her on the fact that she was getting a card for her locker.
Yeah.
And so she brought it home, and I'm like, oh, baby girl, right? Like, that's a credit card. I have failed you miserably. You didn't even know what. Kind of things that they do out there, even at a young age like that.
Yeah. So I think that is one of the things that, give your children what you never had. Give them financial literacy.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they understand. So
absolutely.
Thank you, my dear, for that conversation today. And I'll be looking forward to our next set of questions. And if you have a question that you'd like to ask Shey, please put it in the comments below, and we will get to them in one of the following segments that we're going to be doing with the lovely Shey. And remember that this is a knowledge-based program. It is not to replace any financial advisor, any financial counseling, or whatever you're doing. This is to give you the knowledge that sometimes we just didn't know and we were afraid to ask. So we're telling you the straight goods, straight from the heart on this one. Thank you again, Shey, and we will talk again soon.
I look forward to it. Thank you.
Thanks.